fellow members, 0 guests. The man was a genius, but a flawed genius. He was bipolar, he was paranoid, he was schizophrenic. Can you imagine trying to live in a world having those problems? Now, the thing about bipolar, and I've got bipolar and I know exactly what it is, you have got this amazing ability to be creative and think in a different direction than everybody else, and you can come up with these concepts and ideas. That's what Joe was really good at. He refused to take his medicine because he didn't want to stupefy his brain. He wanted to be able to carry on as he was. He was born in 1929. Very, very intelligent and seeking information the whole time. By the time he was 9, he'd built a television set. Only problem, they didn't have television in the foreign today, so couldn't watch it, but he built it, built radios. When he left school, he went to work in a record shop, TV, radio and record shop, a big one. And that's where he fell in love with music, the latest music, not the old stuff, the latest. He went then to the IBC, International Broadcasting Company, to work as a sort of assistant sound engineer. And IBC were doing lots and lots of stuff for Luxembourg and people like that. So, latest records and stars. He survived there for a couple of years. But he wanted to do his own thing all the time. He could see you could make things better by using different electronic pieces of kit. And the recording industry was sort of, piss off, you can't do that. We always do it like this. And he was saying, no, look, I've got this spring reverb system. What? Spring reverb. You just put the signal in and you listen to what's coming out. And they did it, and they were sort of, what the hell would we want that for? So he generated over a couple of years some amazing systems. He got fired and went to Lansdowne Studios. Same problem. He would not do what he was told. You know, he was forever adding bits to it. Now, Humphrey Littleton was one of the many people that he did work for. Hump gave him they did the thing, Hump gave him the tape, and Hump cleared off on holiday, and so Joe had a go. And he totally changed everything on it. He brought in compression to get the sounds up, he got reverb in, he got echoes in, and when Humphrey came back, he listened to it and said, that's not what I gave you. I said, what, isn't it better? Yeah, actually it is. And so Humphrey Littleton was one of the few that started using him specifically for this engineering. Now, when he pulled out of, he got fired from Lansdowne, he didn't pull out, he got fired. He got this flat in Holborn, and it was a 4-storey flat. So at the bottom was a leather shop, and then he had accommodation, and then he had 2 rooms of studios. Now it meant that when they were recording something special, with lots of sounds, there'd be people like the violins up in the top, someone else in the bathroom, someone else in the bedroom, all playing their instruments, and he's all mixing it up. And it was the world's first independent studio. No one had ever done it before. It was always done by the big boys who would put things onto vinyl with a cutter. And so they used to cut the record itself, the master. And BBC used to do that as well. They used to cut when they're actually doing outside broadcasts. They would cut an acetate to make the record, and then they take it back into the studio and they can take the voices off them. Still, he was doing this, and he was having some real fun, except that money was always a problem. But some of you are probably old enough to remember Tornadoes and Telstar. Anybody remember that? Oh, right, some of you did. John, because he's the same age as me. So, yes, Tornado's Telstar. Absolutely fantastic record. It was #1 in the States, it was #1 in the UK, and sold millions. Now, you would have thought that Joe would have been extremely wealthy with the amount of royalties coming off that. No, a French composer sued him for plagiarism. Well, Joe wrote the damn thing and created it. What plagiarism was there? Well, the courts were still doing it. But still, when he died, he still hadn't sorted out who owned the rights to that particular record. And it was millions and millions of pounds there. So that was one of his problems, money. He was extremely difficult to work with because he always assumed you were as good as he was. And if you didn't turn up with the goodies, he would throw things at you or throw things or you down the stairs. And there were 2 sets of stairs. So he used to get really upset. And he got 300 records he produced. 300. And the ones that are well known are, I've said Telstar, Hines, the blondie from Tornadoes. He did Just Like Eddie, which is a tribute to Eddie Cochran. That got into the charts. Next one, Johnny Layton with I Remember You. That's another one of his. And the last one that was really famous was Honey and the Honeycombs. I've Got the Rights.
Yeah.
And he said that when they were doing it, there's this great bass going on. He really couldn't get them to do it. So he got this table leg and on the stairs was banging it in time with the music, and nobody knew it. And they were all trying to find out how he did that drum sound. One of his inventions. But it was really sad because it got to him in the end. His paranoia was such that he believed people were bugging the place to get his secrets. His landlady, who long suffering, she used to complain every so often about the noise, and she'd get a broom and bang, bang, bang on the roof. So one day she said, I've had enough, I'm going to see him. So she went upstairs to see him, because Hines had just come down and said, he's in a bloody foul mood. And so she went up and had a row with him, and he blew her head off with a shotgun. Then he turned the shotgun on himself and killed himself. And that was the man who was rated to be the best sound engineer in the world, because he invented so much and changed the sound system for records.
Fascinating.